on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing an interesting quote from Matt Barnes that kind of suggests where he thinks the Chicago Bulls can finish in terms of next season, heading into hopefully another NBA playoff run. I want to kind of discuss what he said. Again, I only have one quote. That's really the only quote I'm going to be discussing. I'm not sure if he said anything else outside of that, but he basically said that the Chicago Bulls will finish around the same position. And I just want to say whether or not I think that's going to be good enough for the Chicago Bulls. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about whether or not you believe the Chicago Bulls will finish higher or lower than, I guess, where we finished last year, which was 6th. And 6th, at the end of the day, is a number that I at first was okay with. I remember making a video close to 2 years ago now, close to at least a year and a half ago, I would say, saying that the Chicago Bulls would finish around the 4th to 6th mark. And the start of the season really made me believe that we could go above that. We could go into the top tiers of the Eastern Conference. And unfortunately, things kind of hit a really drastic wall, and we couldn't really escape our downfall, and we ended up downfalling all the way down to 6th in the Eastern Conference. Now, basically what Matt Barnes said is that the Chicago Bulls team, the way it's constructed right now, with everybody capable, everybody playing, will finish around the same, or has the potential to finish around the same position, which is around the 6th in the Eastern Conference. Now, I can understand why Matt Barnes has said that. You got to look at two sides of the coin as well. You got to look at other teams in the NBA and how they've improved. I think Philadelphia has improved a lot. Giannis and the Bucks are still very, very good. Obviously, Boston had a tremendous overturn from their season. They overtook us really late on in the season. Miami's still going to be a very similar team. They might get a little bit worse, but they're still going to be up there as probably one of the top teams. There's a bunch of teams there. And I know many people are waiting to see what New York can do, the Knicks, what Brooklyn will be, what Atlanta will be. There are a lot of ifs there, even Cleveland as well. There are a bunch of teams, the Raptors, again, I can list, the list goes on. There's a lot of teams that we're not really sure what we're going to see. Are we going to see major improvements? Are we going to see downgrades? Are we going to see disappointments? Are we going to see all these teams really compete for some spots in the Eastern Conference? And a lot of teams have improved in free agency. A lot of teams have done big moves in free agency that the Bulls simply did not do. The Bulls kind of went on a cheaper route, but definitely did bring in players, in my opinion, that will make us a little bit better and kind of adds more depth than anything. I think the talent is relatively the same, but the depth of the talent is really, really improved. I think Goran Dragic, at the end of the day, I don't think he makes us contenders or anything like that, but he adds more depth into a position that was already very much full of depth. But he adds more point guard position. He adds a true point guard. With Andre Drummond, he gives us, I think Andre Drummond is probably more talented than Tristan Thompson, but he gives us more depth at the center position. He gives us more at the center position as well. So they're good players there, in my opinion, even though they're not the first choices for the Chicago Bulls team. So I would arguably say, to go against Matt Barnes a little bit, I think this team has gotten better, but you also got to realize the core of the team is exactly the same. We're going to see the same starting 5 heading into next year. We're going to see the majority of the bench stay the same heading into next year as well. So it is relatively the same team with a couple of minor adjustments there compared to some other teams that really made big moves, or really made moves that you could see them make a difference. I'm not sure if the Bulls did that 100% entirely. Maybe we have. We'll find out on the court. We'll find out in October. We'll find out during the year. But from where I'm standing right now, a lot of teams have improved a lot, or a lot of teams have tried to improve a lot, and the Bulls have improved in small, minor ways, trying to fix issues without really spending a whole lot of money. Do I see the Chicago Bulls finishing 6th in the Eastern Conference? To be honest, I can see that possibility occurring. At the end of the day, we had a great start to last year. Last year, we were first in the Eastern Conference for a long, long time, only until that February stretch earlier on this year where we had a big downfall after the All-Star break, even a little bit before the All-Star break, where things really started to go downhill. We really didn't know what was happening, and a bunch of injuries came, and obviously all the protocol stuff prior to that really didn't get the team continuity and camaraderie together to really help us go and attack the second half of that season. And we saw our downfall, and it showed in the NBA playoffs as well. So I can see that being the possibility again. Maybe 6th is just our level. We've got to really take a deeper dive into that. Maybe we just are the 6th best team in the Eastern Conference. But is that good enough? Most people will say no, and I'm one of those people. I don't think finishing 6th in the Eastern Conference is going to be good enough. Granted, that's with a healthy team. If we have Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic, alongside with Alex Caruso off the bench, and the rest are very, very healthy, you don't get maybe 82 games from most of those guys, because at the end of the day, I think it's very hard to play 82 games at the NBA at this point in time. But, you know, you get from everybody at least 60 to 70 games. You get the majority of the team playing together for a long, long time with very few injuries or very few disturbances, and we finish 6th, that's a problem. Because we've not progressed whatsoever. If anything, we've actually gotten worse, or we've stagnated, and that should not be the aim of the Chicago Bulls team. As I've said before, AK talked about the continuity of the team, and the reason why I believe, at least, he kept this team together is because we never actually got to see this team fully healthy for a long period of time. It just hasn't happened. So we don't actually know how good we can be, and that's why this season is going to really show how good this team can be if everything goes according to plan. If we see more injuries next year, then I just think we've got to accept we're never going to see this team fully healthy. So that's very, very interesting as well. But with this team fully healthy, with little to no disturbances, this team, in my opinion, should be fighting for home court advantage in the NBA playoffs, at least in the first round. This team should be a top 4 team. I'm not saying that's what my prediction is going to be. I'll probably make a predictions video down the line. But to fight in this season acceptable, in my opinion, at least the regular season part, is to get into the home court, is to get top 4, is to get the first game in the NBA playoffs in your home ground, your home turf. If we're fighting with the play-in teams, I think that's a step down. I don't think that's good enough. If we somehow manage to survive the play-in, but we're still 6th or 5th, I'm not sure if that's good enough either, because we're still exactly where we were last year. And that's not progression, that's stagnation. That's something that, again, we don't want to be in the territory of the middle of the pack. We want to compete with the highest of the highs, or if we know that we can't, then you've got to find other ways to try and get to that situation. That's just, in my opinion, how it goes. If we finish 6th, will I be totally upset? Probably not. But I can't say that's going to be acceptable for the Chicago Bulls to do. If we want to be the best of the best, we've got to beat the best of the best first and foremost. So that's a new goal we've got to develop. We've got to learn how to beat good teams. But we also got to understand that last year was a bit disappointing, even though we made the NBA playoffs, just by the fact that we were so high. We saw the highs of the highs. We saw what it was like to be first in the Eastern Conference. We saw what it was like when every team was talking about us and how good we were, how good of a team we can be. The potential of this team was sky high. That's what I want to get back to. I want to get back to people talking about the Chicago Bulls and putting them in conversations for NBA playoff runs, putting them in conversations for NBA championship runs. In my opinion, that starts next season. We might not win the NBA championship, but I want to end next season with a conversation that the Bulls could potentially be good enough next season or the season after to go after it again and take another leap forward. It's all about progression. That's what I want to see. And I don't really want to see stagnation. And I feel like that if we see stagnation, that's going to be a big problem and we're going to have to make some changes. That's my personal belief. That's how I feel right now. We'll see how it feels. We'll see how I react in a year's time, I guess. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts about whether or not you see us finishing higher than 6th or lower than 6th. My guess at the moment, I'm not too sure, but I feel like we're going to be in that range. But the Bulls should be fighting for top 4 in my opinion. It's going to be a hard ask. You've got incredibly good teams there, but the Bulls got to be fighting for it. We shouldn't be falling away. We shouldn't be first and falling to 6th or anything like that. We've got to be consistent and we've got to try and fight for top 4. That's what I would like to see out of this team. It won't be easy. It's never easy in the NBA. There's no easy games. I know you see guys that are tanking and trying to lose on purpose, but it's the NBA. These guys are athletes. These guys are pros. These guys have worked their entire life to get where they are. We are a good team. We're a talented team. And I think we're a very hard team to beat when everybody's healthy and everybody's in rhythm. But we still got to show that we're one of the best teams. We'll wait and see if we can do that. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.